Hello students, good morning. I hope you can hear me, right? Uh, Please respond if you can hear me. Just say yes sir, no sir, whatever. Can you hear me? Prashant, Srijan, Srijan, can you hear me? Or
Yes,
okay. So as we hello Nikunj, uh, as we had progressed in the last class, uh, which was based on uh, your causative verbs. I would like to just remind you in case you have forgotten that causative verbs are those verbs where generally what you see is they indicate someone or something uh, which causes or who causes the other person or the other thing into some action. In plain terms, uh, causative verbs refer to the action done for the subject rather than by the subject. Action done for the subject. So, I make you sing. Here, your singing, this action is done for me. It is not done by me. I did not sing. You sang, but I made you sing. So, here it is done for the subject. Now, I had given you three kinds of, I had discussed, if I correctly remember. I had discussed three types of positive verb. One was have. In have, what we generally saw is that you give the responsibility to someone else. In have, there are two kinds of structures. One is applied for the living being, and the other is applied for the uh, thing. So uh, when you are applying, or rather when you are using a particular sentence, then the structure will be that, remember, have is never forceful. Okay, so it is, I mean, somebody is employed to do something. So when it is related to some person, then, I mean, when the object is some person, not an not a thing, when it is a person, so the structure of the sentence will be subject plus have plus object, and then follows the base form of the verb. So, mm, uh, he had me cook breakfast. Here, cook is the base form of the verb. It is not going to, you know, shift. He had me cooked breakfast. Nahi hoga. It will only be in the, I mean, base form, not first form, second form, third form. In the raw form, I mean, first form, second form, third form applies to all those verbs which are finite. That which is not finite will be in the base form. I mean, base form is one of the, you know, parts. You can also say, sir, in what about bare infinitive? Is it base form of the verb? Yes, it's base form, but not all bare infinitives. You know, sentences that carry bare infinitives might not have a causative verb. ठीक है, I saw him go. Here saw is not a causative verb. I saw him go. Yes, object is performing an action, but is the subject causing it? I mean, is the subject making the object perform that action? I saw him. I saw him. So I saw him. He was going and I saw him. So the two actions are independent of each other. But I made him sing. I made him leave. Here, that the object's action is due to the pressure of the subject, or in case of have, it will be because the subject gave responsibility or subject employed the object to do something. So sentence like when it comes to have, it will be mm, the the coach um, had the wicket keeper open the innings. The coach had the wicket keeper open the innings. Here, open is a base form of the verb, and uh, in this, the coach gave a responsibility to the wicket keeper. So here, there is no pressure. There is a sense of responsibility that is given. Uh, I gave you some sentences before. The boss, I think the boss had his secretary call the client, something like that. I think I have that sheet. So just a second. Let me share it. Yes. Huh. Here, as you can see, have the bottom of the page. Here you can see that how uh, one is being entrusted with responsibility uh, to do something else for the object, for the subject. So the object is given some responsibility to perform for the subject. So in this case, I had my friend leave the house. So probably there was the context has not been given why, but probably there was something to be done. So I had my friend leave the house. The boss had his secretary call the clients. Okay, the coach had the wicket keeper open the innings. You can add it over here. You can always add sentences. They will try to get you by you know giving structures like the coach had his wicket keeper. This is how they will give you the sentence, and then they might ask you that if the sentence is correct or not, or they might give you four kinds of sentences, and one among these will be this one, and of course the right one will be there. You'll have to understand, if you do not understand the basic formula of uh, sentences with have, where the object can be a person or object can be a thing. So if you don't understand these basic things, then you will not be able to correct it. So to open, this infinitive structure cannot come. So here the verb will have necessarily after the object, it will have the base form. Coming to the second part where the object is a, a thing. Here subject plus have plus object, which is a thing, is succeeded by a past participle. So here you will say, um, I had the cable connection cut off. Okay, here cut off is a phrasal verb, but it is also in the past participle. Uh, I had my cable connection disconnected. Past participle. Disconnected. It is not the second form. It is simply the past participle. Second verb, causative verb that we had discussed was get. In get again, we have two kinds of objects, living and non-living. And in those cases, the structures also differ. And as you can see in the first structure, when it's a living object, the you know the thing that follows a living object is generally an infinitive, and the thing that follows a non-living object is a past participle. Get के लिए ये होगा. This is for get, not for anything else. Remember that. So uh, the boss got me to call the clients. My friends got me to pay for the bill. Here there is little bit of you know uh, pushing, not force, but pushing. Go, please. You do the thing. Uh, there is no one else who can do it. So convincing someone to perform an action. The lawyer got the witness to arrive at the court. You have to come. I don't know. You have to somehow the witness is convinced to arrive at the court. Then comes the part where the subject. Uh, huh. Then comes the part where the object is a non-living being. And as I had said, that after the object you find the uh, past participle. So when you are framing a sentence where the object is a non-living being, what is happening is that you are putting one by one, um, like this subject verb object. So I got I got my car uh, repaired. So here my car was, you know in a desolate condition. I got it repaired. I convinced somehow the mechanic, and who had earlier refused to do anything for the car. I convinced him to repair it. So coming to make is pretty straightforward. Make is followed by, I mean, the object. Uh, Generally, the object is a person. It is followed by the base form of the verb. So I made him do it. And let me tell you, uh, in this case, the when you are uh, having uh, you are having make as a causative verb, when this is the case, the object always should be a living person. Non-living person नहीं होगा. Non-living person तो नहीं होता. Non-living object does not exist when make is the causative. Now coming to the next verb. Coming to the next verb, which is let, permit, to allow someone. This is pretty simple. You know what the structure is, what the structure is going to be. So subject plus verb or let. Again, generally नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं होता है. So I also. Let's construct a sentence with a future expression. We will. So here the base form of the verb, I am marking it with green. These are the base form of the verb. Acha, in the second sentence, the following clause, it's a clause. When you sing a song for us, it's an indefinite. It's a subordinate clause. Please remember that. Uh, and the sentence, they might ask you simple, compound, or complex. You have to also understand what kind of sentence is it. They can also ask you, is it a conditional or not? If it is a conditional, what conditional is it? They can ask you anything. It's on them what they wish. So sentence, the the structural nature of a sentence, um, then what functional nature of a sentence. So affirmative, negative, what sentence, what kind of sentence, uh, simple, compound, complex, conditional. Questions on conditional can be asked. Questions can be asked on phrase clause identification. So what kind of phrase is this? uh, if they ask you to point out the verb phrase, then will, let is the verb phrase. So you have to point out in that fashion. Ab sirf sing is not a phrase. It's a verb, normal verb. So if you say that sing is a verb phrase, phrase is generally constituting of a bundle of words. Um, Please ask if you are having any questions. They let whoever they is, so they let the board of directors decide. These are all base form of, and for your causative verb, I am marking in what color? Okay. I haven't constructed a sentence with uh, permit, right? Okay. It's the same almost. Um, if permit is the, if I have to just, what happens is, yeah, I should say that in case of let, this, please write it down or take the picture. The structure does not apply for permit. Why? Because permit has a regular structure. बोले तो normally whenever you will use permit after the object, you will find a infinitive following. He permitted everyone of us to leave. Um, they permitted the refugees to take shelter. See, this is the difference between let and permit. So I should only make it exclusive for let. But ये भी infinitive भी एक structure है. So in the case of permit, what happens is, in the case of permit, what will happen is the object will be followed by an infinitive. So this is the case. The object will be followed by an infinitive. Now, having uh, said this, we move on to the next because we have got many examples from these particular sentences. I mean, just one particular causative verb. Coming to the next particular causative verb, which is what are the things we didn't do till okay. Help. Help is another um, causative verb. Now, let me tell you, there are handful of causative verbs, so you need not worry about sir कितने causative verb होते हैं. Oh, I just forgot to highlight the causative verb. So when help is a causative verb, you are uh, it's used to assist someone do something. So can you frame sentences now? Because I have given you so many examples. Can you use help as a causative verb? हेल्प को पॉजिटिव वर्ब की तरह यूज करके बता सकते हो एक सेंटेंस सार्थक. सार्थक. Okay, what about विनम्र? राजेश. अच्छा, सत्यम त्रिपाठी. सत्यम जी.
We should
सत्यम.
help each other.
हाँ. How can I use help as a causative verb?
Sir, one sentence can be they helped her to clean her house.
She helped her to clean the
They
house.
they helped her. They.
Okay, she, they, that it is the same.
That's
You have already brought the past tense, so she helped, they helped her. She helped her hoga. They helped them hoga. They helped her. Acha. They helped her to clean the house. Okay. Acha. Anything else that you would like to? You have given a living being as a subject. Can you use a non-living being as a subject? Some object. Can you use sanitizers as the subject and then frame a sentence? Sanitizers help what? Subject is the sanitizer. Uh, Verb is help. and then you have to use the sentence in I mean verb as a causative verb. So the first sentence was correct by you. What can you do in this case?
So sanitizer help us in preventing COVID-19.
In preventing. Is it a causative verb in this case? Us, हम क्या कोई एक्शन परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं? इन प्रिवेंटिंग कोविड-19 तो ये हो गया, एक अलग फ्रेज हो गया, prepositional phrase. In this case, what will you do where the object is performing an action? Sanitizers help us, या तो to रहेगा या फिर एक verb से simple follow कर जाएगा. See, the case in the case of help, the causative verb help using किसी ने पहले एग्जाम्पल में टू यूज किया था. इट्स ऑब्लिगेटरी यूजिंग टू. Sorry, it's not obligatory. One may use it or one may not use it. So it's only it's correct in both ways. So I have okay. See, help. Somebody had said they helped her to clean the house. Absolutely correct. They helper हो गया ना. They helped her clean the house. This is also correct. टू लगाना ना लगाना सेम बात है. ठीक है. हेल्प के लिए सिर्फ हेल्प के लिए. आई हैड आस्क यू कि सैनिटाइजर्स को यूज करो. सैनिटाइजर्स हेल्प अस प्रिवेंट COVID spread. COVID spread is one particular noun phrase. So here, prevent is your base form of the verb. So in help, you can either use base form or the infinitive form. In both cases, it's correct. Basically, आपको infinitive use करना है. Whenever help is the causative verb, after the object, an infinitive should be used. Either you should use a to infinitive or you should use a bare infinitive. Any of them. So here, both cases, are correct. Then you can also another sentence. Capsicums. I don't know if capsicums help us to remain healthy. Obviously, आप कहोगे sir, how does it help us? Obviously, when we eat it, it help us remain healthy. So यहाँ पे actual object subject अगर हो तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Let's try something else. अच्छा, the object cannot be a non-living being. Okay, in the case of help. So please remember all these little things. The object cannot be a non-living. Uh, so in such a long sentence, they may ask you millions of questions. First of all, which is the subject? How many phrases do you see? So identification of phrase, clause, everything can be asked. You have to be cautious. Uh, in case of a clause, yeah. Now you get a clause as well, a relative clause. So here you are finding a relative clause. Yeah, this is the relative clause. What kind of relative clause? Restrictive or non-restrictive? He may ask you anything. So,
मुझे नहीं मालूम
huh?
बंद करके भेड़ आया हूँ बस
क्या?
काय के लिए बोल रही है
Sarthak, please stop.
यस सर
Please don't keep the mic on if you are not talking, to us. घर पे अगर बात कर रहे हो तो फिर माइक ऑन क्यों रख रहे हो? मतलब घर के लोगों से अगर बात कर रहे हो.
नो नो सर
क्या हमसे बात कर रहे थे? ओके,
सर वो जरा थोड़ा सा काम से गया था सर बाहर तक जरा बस
ठीक है, इट्स ओके.
नाउ आई एम
या इट्स ओके. चलो. So as I have gone through help as a causative verb, I have given you some examples. You can find some examples of your own, solve them. They can ask you like which is the uh, noun phrase. So noun phrase is this one: the girl in blue jeans, which is can you identify a clause? You'll have to say, okay, this is a clause that I can identify. You can also say, I can identify this clause. This is a clause as well. You can say, they can ask you, What about, can you find any other phrase? So you can say, of course, I can identify a prepositional phrase where preposition is it begins with the preposition and noun is the object of the preposition. So you will be asked in any way anything. This is another preposition. तो छोटे छोटे चीजें आपसे ये करेंगे वो, ठीक है. So here in this case, to access the data. Now in this case, they may ask you infinitive phrase. So in infinitive phrase is normally, it plays the role of a, generally it plays the role of a noun phrase. They won't ask you, I hope they won't ask you to point out an infinitive phrase. If they do, infinitive phrase ढूंढना, कहाँ infinitive है वो ढूंढना, जहाँ infinitive है वही infinitive phrase है. So you will have to, find your way out. If you have any problems, if you have any problems with understanding, sir, when is a prepositional phrase an adverbial, when is a, noun phrase functioning as something else. So you'll have to, first of all, you go through the chapters. You have 3 chapters for this term. For this module you have 3 chapters: modifiers, uh, phrase clause identification, and uh, causative verbs, passives and causative verbs. So a little bit of a passive, active passive might also be asked. So you should be able to solve all those. I have discussed active to passive, how normally you change from active to passive. So these are nothing new for you. You'll have to, find out all those little things that are necessary. तो उसको वैसे आप सॉल्व करते जाओ. When you have questions, ask me. But once, I mean, one day before the exam, when you start asking, I don't answer. That I don't answer. I never answer that. I used to answer that long before, but I don't answer because throughout the, you know classes, if you don't have any questions, I take it for granted that you have understood. And one day before the exam, I am not available in that way. So this is your chapter, pretty easy. I'll forward the. Uh, I think I have forwarded the practice sheet of causative verb to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So solve them, and immediately let me know. Today, sit and solve them by evening, or by evening, uh, not tomorrow, but today evening. Let me know if you are having any problem regarding any particular sentence, so that I at least come to know of your problems. In the next class, we can discuss all the problems that you are having, and obviously the answers can be provided to you. But providing the answers is not the fact. You have to go through the problems first of all. You have to face your problems, find your problems. Where are you? I have given you all the, you know structures that should come. You go through them. If you go through them once, or if you go through the structures, you won't have any problem. अगर structure नहीं देखोगे, anyway, uh, from my side, the class is done. Uh, till then, take care. And as I had said, please take care of your family. I couldn't. That's my fault. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.